Denver Broncos. Yes, we're here. Earlier today, the Broncos posted their depth chart where they had Bo Nix as the third stringer and Jarrett Stidham as the first. Obviously, Zach Wilson would be left to the second, which I think is a hunk of malarkey, to be honest with you. I really think that's just a ploy to get their Week 1 opponent, which is Seattle. Their Week 1 opponent, which is Seattle, to think they're preparing for Stidham, and then they just tried out Bo Nix. I really don't see a world where you can even think about starting Stidham or Zach Wilson. I mean, Stidham isn't very good, and neither really is Zach Wilson. So I just really think Nix goes out there, but I'm also not a big fan of Nix. I'm going to put him just above J.J. McCarthy here. As you can see, I took out Sam Darnold because, from all I've been hearing, J.J. McCarthy will be the starter. It's not really a toss-up. J.J. McCarthy has just heavily outperformed Sam Darnold in training camp. So I think Bo Nix is not going to be very good this year. In college, he's not. Bo Nix really hasn't made any throws that are incredible or that an NFL talent quarterback should do. Do I think he's good enough to play in the NFL? Probably, but he's not going to be like a star. He'll probably be around like the Zach Wilson level of player. I mean, all the plays you see of Bo Nix are just him making a pass that he should have made. The number. I mean, he's an older quarterback. He spent 3 or 4 years at Auburn before going to Oregon, and obviously very good at Oregon, but you just can't get that thought of him at Auburn out of the back of your head where he was just awful. He was atrocious at Auburn. And, not really going to forget about that when thinking about Bo Nix. It's Javonte Williams. Really a guy that struggles to stay healthy. I was a big fan of him coming out of North Carolina. He was a tank. Him and Michael Carter, a very good duo. And both of them really have seemed to really fizzle out of the NFL. He did have 700 yards this year, but 3.6 yards a carry isn't very good, especially 24. He'll probably be out of the league in 5 years. I don't see him sticking around a ton. P. Ryan, who's really a receiving back at this point in his career. It's what they have him there to do. He's going to catch out of the backfield. McLaughlin had a decent year last year. But, especially now they brought Estime in, who I think was the best running back in the draft. They got him in the 5th round. Huge steal. And, I may think he's the best running back simply because I am a Notre Dame fan. But he's young. He's big. He runs mean. He's a tank. And he's really a guy that you could give 20 carries to a game. He's like a workhorse. And I think he'll probably be the starter by the end of this season. You think about recent Notre Dame running backs, Kyron Williams, who was hurt for his rookie year, comes out, and, you see it down here. You see him down in the highlights. He is a very good player. Look at that. He's just cutting through and making plays happen. Kyron Williams, other Notre Dame back, he's very good in the league now. Cortland Sutton, getting up there in age at this point. Still pretty good. But wide receiver 1, probably not near the upper echelon of wide receiver 1s. Marvin Mims, young. Wasn't a huge receiving threat last year, but he is electric. When you do get him the ball, he's big. He did a lot of returns. Took a lot of the return duties. Made the Pro Bowl as a return man. And yeah, really, he's only going up from here. Josh Reynolds been around, was on the Rams, Lions, and now he's in Denver. He's a solid receiver. Bounce around for a while. You can expect like 600, 700 yards from him this year. He's a solid receiver. Keep forgetting. Troy Franklin, rookie. From what I've heard, he's been struggling in the training camp. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really see him doing much this year. Besides, like, screen passes. Lil Jordan Humphrey. I forgot Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick, longtime Bronco. And yeah, he's been pretty solid for them. Probably going to take a step back this year because he is older. He is farther down on the depth chart. Not going to get the ball to him a ton. And Lil Jordan Humphrey, he was like 6'5". He's a big guy. He's just really fun. He's got a really fun name. I like Lil Jordan Humphrey. I just like the guy. Other notable receivers. Former Seahawk and Colt and Patriot Philip Dorsett is here. Didn't do really anything in Seattle. Didn't really do anything last year. He's probably not going to do anything this year, if I had to be honest with you, but he's on the team. David Sills. Where was he? He was on the Saints for a little bit. Right. I remember him at West. Maybe he was on the States. I'm just thinking of him at West Virginia. He was on the Giants. Okay. There's another David Sills that showed on there. It's the same dude. Intriguing. Anyway, he's probably not going to do a ton this year. Troutman, fine. Tight end. I mean, this is not a position you really are looking to urgently upgrade, but you take a flyer on like a third-round tight end. He's not the best in the world. He's fine. Same with Dulcich, really. Did he not play a ton last year? I remember him a couple of years ago. He only played 2 games last year. And that's probably why the numbers didn't look great. But again, he's a guy who can get you a couple hundred yards in a season. Then the other guys down there, Michael Burton. Was he somewhere else? I feel like he's been around for a while. Was he on the Vikings? Maybe. Where was he? Because I recognize him. Right. Probably Kansas City, where I remember him from. Garrett Bowles, good. Ben Powers, okay. Quinn Manierrez, very good. And McGlinchey isn't what he used to be, but he is still pretty good. Alex Forsyth, okay, I was going to say, could that be Stone Forsyth's brother? But I'm looking at him and doesn't exactly look like he could be Stone Forsyth's brother. They don't really look alike. Any other notable players? Matt Pert. He was on the Giants the past couple of years, and they've kind of sucked. So I can't imagine he's been doing all that well. But I do know. There's a name that I do know. On the defense, Zach Allen. Don't know a ton about Zach Allen, to be honest with you. Looks like he's okay. DJ Jones, actually pretty solid. He's been around the block. Probably be on a few more teams throughout his career as well. John Franklin Myers, again, another pretty solid guy. Solid rotational guy. This was the pick that turned out. This was one of the picks from the Russell Wilson trade. Turned out to be this guy. Hasn't really been good. Baron Browning looks to be solid. Again, don't know a ton about him. Nick Bonito, I do know, not Levi Wallace. Nick Bonito, I do know, and he's pretty good. No, he's really like a budding. He's like their Boye Mafe. Except I'd take Boye Mafe over Nick Bonito. Singleton, not very good. Rack you up some tackles. But, 30 years old, you're looking to replace him soon. Cody Barton seems to always be in the right place. I mean, he's a former Seahawk. I know a lot about Cody Barton. Always gets his hand on the ball, but just never catches it. He dropped so many interceptions in Seattle. It was honestly frustrating. Jonathan Cooper, it's fine. Pat Surtain, we know Pat Surtain, one of, if not the best corner in the league. Levi Wallace, another solid corner. PJ Locke, solid safety. Brandon Jones, looks to be pretty solid. Damari Mathis, young guy. They're looking to. I remember a lot of fans had high hopes for him going into last season, and he was just not very good last season. But, we're looking for him to take a return to form as when he was a rookie. Will Lutz. Soli's pretty weird. Spells Will with one L. Obviously we talk about Marvin Mims and all these guys. And let's just hop over to the record. Let's get this record out of the way. Week 1. As I said, I think they're gonna start Bo Nix, even if they say they're not. I think Bo Nix is gonna start, and I think they'll lose that game against my glorious Seahawks. Going against former quarterback Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's got some real. Steelers are gonna be real decent. Plus, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, and I don't think they're gonna start now. Against the Buccaneers. Give me the Buccaneers. Against the Raiders, give me the Broncos on this one. Chargers, give me the Chargers. They could probably beat the Saints. They could probably beat the Panthers. Not going to beat the Ravens. Not going to beat the Chiefs. They could beat the Falcons, though. This is a winnable game. But I think at this point they have the quarterback situation figured out. And the team's not bad. Giving it to the Falcons. I think they'll split the season with the Raiders. Probably lose to the Browns. Probably lose to the Colts. Honestly, they'll probably split it with the Chargers too. Lose to the Bengals. Lose to the Chiefs. The team I don't think is that great. I have them at 4-13. Yeah, I'm not too high on these guys. I'm just really not too high on them. That's all I got for Broncos. I'll see you when we do the next team, which will probably be the Chiefs.